Hopefully you came in today to learn more about creating engaging lessons, how to implement more technology into your classroom, and how technology helps build in time to work one-on-one with struggling students. Or it's possible you just popped in to find out who rewrote song lyrics for the title of their presentation. Either way, welcome to It's All About That Tech for Learning. When I think of the future, I often find myself thinking of old episodes of the Jetsons. While some things they predicted have come true, like video calling and flat-screen TVs, they thankfully didn't get the future classroom right, or we would all be out of a job and the Rosies of the world would be teaching the next generation of students. Our media still has yet to portray today's classroom right either. They often show pictures with three elements: a teacher standing at the front of the room with all the students actively engaged, everyone in class raising their hand to answer a question, and usually a max class size of about 15 students. I don't know about you, but in my teaching career, these things rarely happen, let alone all at the same time. The Simpsons provide the best example of how students are jammed into a classroom expected to learn from a single teacher. While this is certainly exaggerated, I'm willing to bet that many of you can relate to this image. So how do we ensure all students learn? In what ways do we make sure they are ready for the world of tomorrow? Well, I'm here to tell you that implementing technology into your daily teaching practices will help. Now that I said implement technology, how many of you are picturing this? Okay, well then it seems we need to define what technology is and how it is used. Technology is defined as anything created by humans that is used to solve a problem, which means that even the spoon you ate your cereal with and the pen they gave you at check-in this morning is technology. You and your students are using technology in every aspect of your daily lives. In the education world, when we speak of technology, we often are referring to digital objects such as computers, tablets, and the equipment or programs that can be utilized with those devices. Before we delve more into the implementation of technology, I want to share a little background of my classroom by sharing a picture of my class. This past year, I had 32 first graders, and I certainly felt like the Simpsons image earlier. We had a class set of iPads and Chromebooks, and I made sure from day one to introduce technology as a tool and not as a toy as they had learned at home. Now, just because you may have fancy tech devices in your classroom does not mean your students will automatically pay attention, be engaged in learning, or create amazing products to showcase what they have learned, as you may have seen at other conferences. You will have to utilize the devices and use them in conjunction with your normal teaching practices, which for each of us will be different. My favorite aspect about technology tools is being able to have time to work one-on-one with students. Allowing for personalized learning creates an environment in which students are engaged. They enjoy choosing from a menu of options that utilize their tech tools, such as creating videos of themselves reading, taking pictures of 3D shapes we are learning about like cylinders, or simply to practice skills through the educational apps on their devices. There is no way I could ever name all the useful educational apps out there, though it is important to know there are many different types for students to use. Some of my students' favorites include Math Zombies, Teach Me First Grade, and Hungry Fish. As an adult learner, I've enjoyed apps such as Flipgrid, Google, and SkyMap. There's most likely an app for anything you could imagine. There are many great apps to enhance student learning whole group. One such app is Kahoot, which is a quiz platform in which students are able to actively participate from their devices. Teachers can create their own quizzes to go along with curriculum or choose from a database of hundreds of previously created. This app can be utilized at all levels of education because of its simplistic design. Tech tools are evolving in today's classroom to include coding skills. Little Bits technology pictured here allows students to bring to life their creations. They can then code these devices to perform tasks much like objects in the real world. Some other great coding devices are Bots or Dash and Dot. If you do not have access to additional devices, using online programs such as Hour of Code is a great starting point for students. In today's 21st century classroom, it is our job as educators to ensure students are tech literate. It is essential that we create lessons that do not include the teacher standing and lecturing at the front of the classroom the whole lesson, or utilize only paper and pencil to complete assignments. Lessons need to engage students through connections with the real world, and through these real-world connections, they allow students the opportunity to collaborate together. In conjunction with collaboration, students will be practicing communication skills that are also essential in today's world. It is important to note that on your quest to implement technology into the classroom, you do not need to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. There are educators all around the country who are sharing their ideas and lessons through online platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and personal blogs. Begin by following educators in your content area. From there, you can borrow, adapt, and even implement your own ideas. You could then even share your ideas through your own online platforms and join the technology education community. Remember, think outside the box. Where can you get ideas? There's always new places. You just have to look for them. Speaking of outside the box, it is not only you who is going to have to do that, it is also your students. For many, they will not have utilized technology for learning. To them, technology is often used for gaming, communication, or entertainment. There are multiple ways we can give the control of learning back to students through the choice in the way they learn or even how they showcase their learning. This can engage them in the learning process. Students live in a different world than we grew up in. They are constantly connected with each other, leaving their digital footprint with every stroke of a key or picture they send through Snapchat. It is essential as educators that we learn to speak their language and utilize the tools they are familiar with to enhance their engagement in learning. We need to bring the joy back to the classroom. Let students have a voice. Let them use technology and tools in the classroom. Let them be in charge of their education. Learning is more than a weekly test. Let's educate today's students to be lifelong learners in both the real world and the digital world. My name is Carlotta Vaughn, and I want to thank you so much for attending the presentation on It's All About That Tech for Learning today. Please feel free to follow me on Twitter at CarlottaVaughn1689, and don't forget to use that tech.